It's your man, Pooh Nanners, your Texas caster and hype master.
And I'm Pally the Door, back again with some slightly less late than last time spotlight on Echo Arena action.
Yeah, man, I think we're getting this one out a few hours earlier than last week.
Right? Progress, my friend. Eventually, I want to get this show out the same week that we actually have the matches that we're highlighting casted. So if you believe it, or if you can believe it, you know, we'll make it happen.
Yeah, well, the Door has a plan. But first, we've got VRL Season 3 Week 2 and Pizza League Week 6.
Yep, and great matches they are, but just a quick reminder that this whole show is by the community, for the community. So all these featured clips are basically what I can pluck from the internet. So if there are entertaining matches that you can have throughout the week and that you record or that someone streams, just send us the links and we'll feature them.
Yes, indeed. Send them over to us. DM them in Twitter. Link us on Twitter. Whatever it is you got to do. Discord's also a great way to get a hold of either one of us. So we're going to start off on the EU side, where we're going to kick off with Kicked Puppies and Ouroboros.
I got to say, I'm both entertained, but occasionally horrified by the names of some of these teams.
Yes, very ominous names indeed.
Ouroboros wins first joust. Risky pass is Torin up top. Less risky pass to Sundance on Ness, but Troy of Kicked Puppies kicking that puppy out. That shot attempt perhaps taken a little too far out. Both teams struggle mightily for any kind of disc control early on, but then Troy again here with the intercept and clear, finally leading to a boosted recovery and the first goal of the game 2 minutes in, courtesy of Lewis and the Pups. Then not a minute later, almost an identical looking goal from that right underside, my boy Troy slapping it to Slyn, putting it in. And Ouroboros looking a little sleepy to start this game. But Ouroboros on offense, and Ambient not to be outdone with the one-on-one, slides to the left, but the push to the right to sneak that shot past Lewis. But Kicked Puppies with the rebuttal, Slyn, who was racking up punches in this game, using those fists to take disc, then slinging it downfield. Then Torin missing the grab on the Soren Lewis, who gets the 2. Less than 30 seconds left and down 4, but Ouroboros just not going away. First with a tight cross pass to dunk at the goalie's feet, and then on the next joust forcing a crucial turnover with a boost and the stack, and Torin with a one-on-one, coolly tying it up to send it into overtime. With momentum firmly on their side, Ouroboros gained control in overtime, and Ambient administering the Ambien, putting the Kicked Puppies to sleep, and completing their comeback.
Kicked Puppies showing some strong bite, but it wasn't enough to overcome Ouroboros, who took the series 2-0.
Yeah, Ouroboros were considered the favorites going into this one, I think, but the Puppies had a really nice showing.
Yes, they did. Well, next up we have Mariachis versus Smash Dash. These are two teams with plenty of veteran VRL presence.
Smash Dash with the opening offense, nice spacing, every team member touching the disc before Sendo with a send up into the goal for 2. Other side, Twang Pants hitting the cutter into the contested shot from middleman to even the score. Now this is interesting. Twang Pants with disc again, apparently missing an arm though, maybe a battery issue. So Twang Pants with a literal handoff to Denials, who banks it in from a tough angle. Denials rescuing his teammate from himself. No rescue coming in for the Mariachis afterwards though, as Smash Dash proceeds to go on an 11-2 tear for the last 3 minutes of Game 1, and most of that damage being done on open goals based on cleaner boosting. In Game 2, Smash Dash showing off with this beautiful, unselfish passing display to earn one of their 3 goals in this match, but this time around it's the Mariachis taking advantage of the frantic pace, putting in some key, fast break goals throughout Game 2 to force that third and final game. In Game 3, Twang Pants striking the cover girl pose on this shot, but the rest of the game is neither easy nor breezy for the Mariachis, where much like Game 1, turnovers and out-of-rhythm stacks result in too many open goals to overcome by the Smash Dash trio.
Smash Dash going turbo on that offense. Always fun to watch them do that. But getting the disc past the stone walls of middleman and Denials requires precision and a little luck. But as you hinted at, having great goalies doesn't mean much if they're nowhere near the goal when the shot goes down. It seems like their stacks were too slow when they needed to be fast and too fast when they needed to be slow.
Yeah, and that can happen to pretty much every team because stacking is all about rhythm, which it can be lost when games get fast or frenetic. So I like to think of a great stack like a tidal wave, or even though it's something fast and chaotic, there's still a certain rhythm to it, So stacks have to have a good cadence and not just be a flood of random panicked grabs.
Yeah, so what we need is some guys from like a drum line that places first in state every year and get them to play Echo Arena and see how good their regrabs are. Well, next match is Team Brainded versus Polaris. They always keep us guessing with those names over in the EU.
Right. So in week 1, these 3 were known as Team Lethargy, but then they switched it up to Brainded going into week 2. And I asked Gecko about it, and he said that they chose the names based on how they felt on those given days.
Yep, and those feelings can definitely take their toll in league play.
Round 1, breaking out into a Royal Rumble at mid as both teams knock each other's screws loose vying for control. Finally gets into the hands of Infiltrate, though, who finds the open Al Pacino to put Polaris on the boards first. Other side, Infinity taking a nice bank shot as well, but hits Gecko's head on the way in for the easiest points he'll score all day, but looking much more mobile on the next play, boosting with Infinity for another 2, and then again after a line of passes from Ravel and Infinity, and Gecko scoring 6 unanswered points, arguably, to put Brainded up by 1. Next joust, Gecko with a nice grab on the Polaris stack, but unfortunately gets punched out, and Polaris pushing up on that, leading to the pass and score at goal to lead by 1 and take Game 1. Game 2, Team Brainded coming in with a flyby punch on Martin. Now Infinity misses the first shot but doesn't give up on the play and gets 2 off the rebound. Then next play, all 3 Polaris defenders diving on the disc, leaving Ravel the open goal. And next joust, Brainded with the stack, able to pounce on the disc, and then the slow stroll to goal, and Brainded with a 6, 8, and 10 unanswered points to take Game 2 decisively. So Game 3 it shall be, and with great prediction, Al Pacino with the brains, but Gecko with the brawn gets it back and passes to Infinity and beyond for 2. Polaris on offense, but Ravel about to unravel their plans with a save on Martin. They get it back, but then a save on Al Pacino. Then pressures a miss right here, and then finally, on the 4th attempt, Polaris scores, and perhaps only due to Ravel being stunned. Ravel just a coupon collector for Team Brainded, doling out those savings. With the game tied and less than a minute to go, a weird throw gets into the hands of Gecko, who finds Ravel for the crunch time 3. Less than 30 seconds left. Polaris desperately needs a goal, but Ravel, yet again, with a high-pressure save, just no time to get a clear. Now Martin backing out the disc, but because no one pressures him, 2 Polaris players have tons of time to stun Ravel, who's forced to watch helplessly as a 3 sails through. So it will come down to a Game 3 sudden death overtime. Polaris with control and Team Brainded seemingly down a player. Unfortunate, but Martin will bring it up. He palms the disc, and with the wrist, throws it in to get the win for Polaris in a most unlikely comeback, and despite the heroics of Ravel down the stretch.
Crazy momentum swings throughout that series. Team Brainded went on some uncontested scoring runs, but Polaris kept their composure and were able to fight back to win that first and third match. Our final match
from them, keep that composure. I mean, it's easy to get into the mentality when you go down in a game, just giving up, but they stayed right into it and they came back for some nice wins.
You got to keep your emotions and your brain in the pocket for sure.
Our challenge.
Yeah. Our final match from EU is our highly anticipated rematch from week 1, Synergy versus Team Gravity. I was excited to see how this one was going to play out, and Palador has the score.
Synergy starting it off with some early game patience, inching it closer and closer towards goal with each pass until the defense breaks down and gives Niliwick that shot that they want. Compare that to the next play from Team Gravity, who opt for a more aggressive fast break, which ends in a contested shot and save by Maddie, then the clear, the blazingly fast boost, and 2 more for Synergy. Next joust, Synergy bringing their defense forward this time with their stack, first with a steal in the clear, then the flyby stun, and the shot, a stunning shot if you will, and Team Gravity reeling from that one, down 6 now. Now Team Gravity again going with the aggressive approach on offense like before, and it works out this time as Athens sinks it. It's the last time Team Gravity sees the orange goal in Game 1, however, because the rest of the way it's Synergy, commanding the pace, stalling with a lead to draw defenders out of goal, and forcing Gravity to play with more desperation and take more risks until the clock expires. Game 2, Synergy coming out with the methodical offense again, but Team Gravity, an excellent job covering the open lanes, and then the save by Boop, Viatrex, and Affen Terror. Nearly impossible to tell, so I'll give official credit to all 3. Some tight defense and quick boost prevent both teams from gaining control until finally Viatrex with a double stun, then watch. One hand grabbing disc, one hand smacking face, and then a nicely executed boost and pass with Affin, who drains the first 3 points of Game 2 for Team Gravity. Both teams follow up with some goal protection, first from Maddie off of that familiar fast approach of Gravity, and then on the other end the familiar triangle approach from Synergy but saved by Viatrex. Now Team Gravity, only up 3 with 2 minutes left, but interestingly stall it out on their side of the floor until they find that opening, which they do, and boop, sinking it deep from the tunnel, and that is what I call good tunnel vision. So with Synergy now the ones behind and pressed for time, Team Gravity handily closes out Game 2.
Ding! Ding! And it goes.
Final match, and Viatrex opening it up with a rather rude stiff arm to Maddie, and then the 3. But Synergy right back with Lego to Maddie to Nilly, who swings it in up close. Now for Synergy, it's Lego with great defense, protecting Nest as if he built it, then brawling 2 Gravity players down below to cause the turnover. Back in Lego's hands eventually, he gets the unconventional, unintentional bounce to Nillywick down low for the shot, but a timely boost from Gravity to save it, but then knocked off someone's head, allowing the second chance score from Nilly. Nilly with perhaps a horseshoe up his chassis after that lucky sequence. No luck involved here though, just speed. After some wide triangle passing in their half, it's Maddie and Nillywick with the boost and the deuce. Then for the steal, it's Lego and Nillywick, the silly quick boost. Kisses his horseshoe and banks in the 3. Team Gravity on offense with one more dive play to score, but just playing from behind and running out of time. Synergy is able to force Team Gravity's hands, burn some clock, and hit their open shots to take this week's series.
Yeah, man, the record is now 1-1 after the first 2 weeks of VRL, and it seems like both times the results could have gone either way if a few plays had just went down differently. And as you pointed out, it seems like stalling in the game is starting to be a big part of this match.
Yeah, the stalling strategy continues to be a major point of discussion and contention within the community, and I don't think anyone likes doing it. But for better or worse, it's a smart thing to do when your team starts pulling ahead, especially in VRL where there's 5-minute matches, and even a couple decent stalls can drain a significant percentage off of that game time. And that's why many players, me included, continue to advocate for shot clocks or at least longer matches in VRL. It's also why we play 20-minute games, 10-minute halves in Pizza League.
Yeah. Every professional sport has some version of it and rules to limit it. It stings to be on the receiving end, but sometimes that's just the game for now. Let's take a look at the results for the EU for that week. Now here we have, as you saw, Synergy pulling a 5-0, sitting on top over Team Gravity, who lost that match against Synergy, going 4-1. Then you have Ouroboros, Kick Puppies, Team Brainded, and Polaris all pulling 3-2s with slight changes in the tiebreaker points. Very good work for them for week 2, and we'll be covering week 3 to see how they did there. I believe that's 6 weeks total before we really get to figure out who's going to the World Finals, correct, Palador?
Yeah, it'll be a tight race as ever, and it's a very short race at that. It's more of a sprint than the previous season's marathons,
Yeah. That was like the intro to the very first episode is like, this season's gonna be a sprint. Well, speaking of a sprint, we're moving on to the North American teams. We've got a couple officially strained VRL matches, starting off with Eclipse versus NE Plus Ultra. Where we get to see the competitive return of Guygasm. Of course, Guy is a Season 1 World Finalist and a member of the Fangasms, or previous member of the Fangasms, Simeon's old team.
Yeah, that's right, and I'm happy to see a Guy getting active again in the competitive mix because, I know he still played Arena, casual basis last season, but it's always fun getting to see these, old players that you've known since Season 1 and going head-to-head on those Sundays.
Yep, old friends, new rivals, outstanding rookies. These are all the hallmarks of a very healthy league.
Game starting out chaotic with a dog pile in the corner, but Lemming happy to play fetch for Eclipse, getting it to Simeon, who squeezes it past the diving defender. Eclipse forcing turnovers for some more chances at goal, but Ender the defender protecting Ultra's home with back-to-back saves. Guygasm moving up the disc for Ultra, but Simeon swinging around his leg like a fire pole for the grab and the clear. Then on the other end, the pressure from Sim, the intercept, and then the pretty touch pass by Sim to find Lemming, who knows just what to do with it. Now Ultra on offense with some nice give and goes between Guy and Ender, who puts it off the backboard for 2. Next play, we get to disc first. Lemming breaks off, and I send the no-look fling to Simeon up top, and Simeon, seeing the crack in the defense, cements that hole with a triple. As game 1 winds down, I see Ender approaching from the same angle as earlier, and I get the backboard save a little more prepared this time around. Off the game 2 joust, I get into a regrab war with Gygasm downfield, just doing a little dance together, and he's do-si-doed out of goal just enough to clear the way for Sim. Now, Ender and Brennan are able to score off one-on-ones near the beginning and end of game 2, but struggle to gain a foothold on Eclipse's side of the arena, who are forcing turnovers and snowballing that momentum after what was a much slower to start game 1. Eclipse finishing the game with 17 points and taking the series.
Yeah, man, it was a very exciting match. As I noticed in that first game, neither team really scored much until the last couple of minutes, but you guys kicked it into high gear in the second game.
Right, and I think that's bound to happen sometimes when you're facing teams that you're unfamiliar with. Those first few minutes are definitely a feeling out process, but once we got into our flow, it just went on from there.
Yeah, well, next on the card is Synapse versus 11.5, two returning but slightly retooled teams from Season 2. It is very exciting to see what these guys are up to.
First dive on goal, Wit welcomed down the middle, but YouTube accepting the challenge with a save. They get another try, dash this time, but the Roctor laying the smack down on 2 Synapse defenders to help his tag partner dash for 2. 11.5 forces a joust turnover, then watch Wit and Roctor like clockwork backing up to a spot where they can receive a back pass or get the quick stack boost. Knowing how and when to reset your offense like this is important, and 11.5 is as good as anyone at it. Both teams stacking fast after a wayward shot, but 11.5 slightly faster, then Wit and dash with a great clear and boost to get them the 3. Next joust, Roctor just missing a would-be interception, disc gets up to Kavici, who lines up and calmly sinks the 3. A few highlight-worthy things right here. First, Kev with a disc, smartly waiting for his teammates to catch up instead of diving in outnumbered, and then watch how great he moves without the disc, staying active, moving from point to point, and not only disrupting the defense, but he keeps his passing lanes open in case his teammates need to find him. 11.5, though, doing what they do, defending that bubble once, twice, 3 times before Synapse finally scores after nearly a minute in 11.5's side of the arena. First game goes to 11.5, and now it's game 2. First highlight is Wit playing a little Frogger as he bounces downfield, and then finds Roctor, who throws it down. 11.5 rolling out with some crisp passing, but then it's YouTube with the YouTube-worthy highlights, saving it 2v1 right in front of goal. 11.5 wishing they could unsubscribe from that one. Unfortunately, 11.5 does recover, and with Synapse scattered, Roctor stirs the pot, takes a shot. Synapse down 6 with under 2 minutes left, but showing some great fight here. First with some very tight passing around mid that leads to the side-winding shot by Zach. Then, on 11.5's joust, great man-to-man defense by YouTube to punch his man, take the disc, and get it downfield. Then Roctor in goal for 11.5, taking a big risk here by diving as Kev's head is turned, but mistimed, and it gets Synapse the 3 points to close the gap to 1. Both teams trade 2-pointers in the next couple rounds, but unfortunately for Synapse, it ends up in 11.5's favor, who with 30 seconds left are able to stall it out and hang on to that precarious 1-point lead the rest of the way.
Yes, indeed. Synapse put up a great fight, but as we saw earlier, stalling can really hamper a team's ability to come back once they're down a few goals. 11.5 was able to sweep that series and are looking strong as ever with Roctor now on the team.
Yeah, and Roctor's been a great player for a long time now, but he definitely flew under the radar last season. But once the offseason hit, I wasn't surprised at all to see a great team like 11.5 pick him up.
Oh, 100%. It's really great to see Roctor, coming in early. You and I had talked about this earlier, how Roctor seems like he was in the same place that Wit and Dash were last season, where, somebody showed a lot of talent. Not a lot of people were sure. Put him on a team with guys that were very much like him, and you're seeing them take off week over week. We're going to see these guys, I think, perform even better. Well, let's take a look how everyone performed in week 2. We had Kangorillaz going 6-0 up top. 11.5 taking that second place position, going 5-1. And then we had Squid, Eclipse, Jokr, and Synapse all going 4-2. To even out the last of it. Your old team going 4-2. Who knew? How did that happen?
Typos.
Typos indeed. All right, well, closing this episode out, we have a pair of matches from Pizza League Week 6. First up, Eclipse versus 11.5. Two teams that know each other very well from their constant scrimmages and weekly battles in VRL last year.
Early game, Eclipse rolling out on offense with some buttery full-court passing to maneuver through that 11.5 stack. Simeon leads me perfectly here for the pass and the score. Heavy brawling and possession changes so far lead to back-and-forth clears and boosts, with scores mainly coming off of open goals early on. Here, with 11.5 about to regain disc, I stay near their backline in case of the back pass, which does happen, and I'll seize the opportunity to outwit Wit. Or outlag, maybe both. Eclipse corralling disc, and Lemming setting up Simeon for some beach volleyball with that spike while I work on my tan in the back. Next round, the 11.5 stack barely misses the interception, and Lemming gets it off the bounce, hits Simeon with the pass down low, and Simeon splicing it through the defense with that quick release fadeaway shot. Then here it's Lemming like a hawk, swooping in for the steal and the clear. Then it's Simeon boosting to recover and showing nice patience as he waits for Lemming and I to fly in and hit us off the cut. Loose disc on Eclipse's side of the floor, I slap it out of traffic but then dash with a nice touch pass to Wit, who finds Jokr with a bounce and drives it into the goal. Near the end of the first half, a dinged shot translates into a good boost and open three from Wit, but then the favor is returned, leading Sim with a pass here just out of the defender's reach for 3. Back and forth game so far, and early in the second half, it's Jokr attacking goal for some back-to-back points. But on the other end, same thing for Eclipse. Not a lot of three-man attacks going on this game, but several flybys and cross passes before defenders get fully set. 5 minutes left and both teams trading goal for goal all the way so far. 11.5 here coming out with one of the few slow plays we've seen all match. Wit gets it to Dash, who threads it through two diving Eclipse players to Jokr, who continues to rock the rim baby. And from there, 11.5 starts getting a little separation, going up 8 points with under 3 minutes left. But Eclipse, with that second solar wind, brings it back to within 3 a minute later. But then this happens. Dash off the joust, finding Wit down low, closely contested by me with Lemming and Simeon trying to rock it back to our goal. But if I can outwit Wit, well, Wit can certainly outdoor me with this outdoor shot to shut the door on Eclipse. 11.5 takes the win, 40-35.
It is always a pleasure watching 11.5 and Eclipse play, especially in the Pizza League format. It's like watching a real sport. I really do love those longer matches with the half in between. Both teams for 11.5 and Eclipse burn so hot that when they have to play on a day where one of them immediately has to follow a match up with another one, I worry for them. And we have seen that kind of have an effect on the teams, just having to run so hot, be so tired, and be like physically and emotionally exhausted from how hard y'all go on each other.
Absolutely. I just got done before this recording playing 4 hours of scrims with Squid and Kangorillaz. I mean, I still got a little bit of the VR face going on, so it's still a workout, you know, to this day.
Yeah, indeed, because you guys got to keep going faster. You haven't hit a limit. We did see that over in Sprint Vector, that those guys basically found a mechanic that they called the Stody Hop in order to get as faster than anyone could go. And it turned out to not require near as much effort as was required when you very first learned to play the game. But, you know, not so in Echo Arena, where, you know, you keep dialing it up week over week.
I just want to say, I like how with a lot of these games, we have the Stody Hop, the Boop Shot, the Pally Door. Like, everyone has their things. It's great.
Yeah, you know, that's the fun of video games. It's like the terminology, the things that people make up and the things they name after each other. Or that people say, no, I invented that. And it's always fun.
Yeah.
That's actually like Stody. He was like, trademark. It's trademark. And he like, go out. Just like, I'll sue you. Anyway, so next we have Jokr, who actually took a game against Kangorillaz just days prior in VRL. And some people were curious to see how this was going to unfold.
Early game, Kong pressured hard by Loveridge but gets this soft handoff to Ryan Rhino. Now Jokr gets a setup here with a cross to Jaywalker, then back to Rhino, but Loveridge at goal, erasing that shot and setting the tone for the game to come. Other end, sharp pass from Loveridge going out, but not through, and it's Kong with a fluid interception, clear and boost. The first shot is off center, but Jay from State Farm there for the insurance. Kong with a disc, and he wants to get a little fancy. He tries for the juke, but no! Kong gets his bell rung, and the defense not biting on the fake on that one. Then Strem, the clear and boost with sealable bag, who puts it where it needs to go. The following round, it's Jokr with a defensive rebuttal. First, Jay reading the inside pass, Ryan the punch, then Jay reading the outside pass. Now Kangos recover again, but pressured on that dive and missing, and then Strembitsky hitches a ride on the Jokr stack, but is propelled into the tube like a Pringles chip, giving Ryan time for the 3. Later it's Strem, channeling his inner Kung. Now you see him, and now you don't, and Strem leaving his defender in a trail of Pringles dust and broken promises with that juke. Not to be outdone though, it's Kung coming back with some Kung Fu. First, the nice save on Leverage, then the crazy slap-induced boop shot, which I can't say I've ever seen intentionally done before, but he nails it. But closing the half for the Kangorillaz, it's Sealable Bag, the pass fake, the dive, then stunning both Jokr defenders after the cross pass to go up by 5. Into the second half now, it's Jokr with a "Get down, Mr. President" save at goal. Then in true Jokr fashion, the lightning quick stack on the boost. Then on the other end, the Canadian duo Strem and Sealable coming in for the "Get down, Mr. Prime Minister" save. But no, Sealable actually putting it in himself as he flies through, betraying the goal and perhaps a nation. Next round, as Strem brings it up the floor, the Jokr stack comes in quick, but cleverly anchors in his blind spot, resulting in an excellent read on that pass for the intercept and the eventual slap shot from Jay. Then next round again, Jokr forcing a turnover, misses the shot, but quick as always on the boost to rebound it for another 3. Jokr exploding with 8 points in the last 34 seconds and predicated on stellar defense to take the lead. But Kangorillaz, ever the force, come back with an 8-point scoring rally of their own. A few minutes and one highly accidental 3 later, and Jokr finds themselves down by 10. In the following round, Jay gets the beautiful, no hesitation shot from way deep down, with the Kangorillaz in crunch time, pulling it together for a 10-2 run in the final few minutes to take this match 38-23.
Quite the exciting match there. Kangorillaz got the job done, but Team Jokr made them work for it. They've got youth on their side, and they're maturing fast into an elite defensive team. They hung right there with Kang for a full 17 minutes before Kang finally pulled away.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, a couple weeks ago, Strembitsky was quoted as saying that Team Jokr is a top 3 defensive team in North America. And, you know, after reviewing the footage and after playing them a lot more as of late, I can't say I disagree. Their defensive speed, their skill, and their overall positional awareness has been like really impressive. They're great at breaking up stacks. They have just a strong ability to force bad passes and clears. And because of how quick their stacks are, you know, once a team turns it over, all they need is that just tiny, tiny window to boost down and score before the defense can even react. And it's just ridiculous, you know. And believe me, I've seen it.
Dude, I was so excited when I saw their win against Eclipse on the results page. I thought to myself, my boys are all grown up now. Did you have any thoughts on that match that you wanted to share with us?
And we're out of time.
That's it, right indeed. That's it for us. Thanks to all our players and viewers for supporting the show. Show us some love in the comments and get a conversation going, as this helps the show rank up and get more exposure to people who don't know about the league.
Absolutely, and as always, I hope the wait was worth it, and that it was some combination of informative and entertaining. So as always, with everything
Oh, we lost him for a second, but that's all right. We're coming back. You know, as he said, we need those suggestions on the show, and he is back, but we'll get more in a little bit. I am Poon Anders, joined by world champion, Echo Arena player, and Pizza League caster, Palador.
Yeah, that's me, Unfrozen Palador here again. And that's right, Poon Anders. This show was brought to you by VRespawn.com, your only source for VR esports news. But be sure to subscribe and follow us on Twitter to keep up to date.
That's right. This episode was written by Palador, and it was directed by me, and only me, because we couldn't get Triple to show up.
Yeah, and well, thanks for everyone for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe once again, and let us know what you think of the show. We've got a lot more action coming your way next week, so stay tuned right here on VRespawn. Until then, thanks again, and I will see you in the arena.